In this video, we're going to walk through service department cost allocations using the reciprocal method. Carlo Manufacturing has two production departments, machining and assembly, and two service departments, maintenance and cafeteria. The direct costs for each department and the proportion of service costs used by the various departments for the month of August are given below. Our direct costs are given in this line right here. The allocation proportions are given below. Maintenance is allocated 20% to the cafeteria, 60% to machining, and 20% to assembly. The cafeteria cost will be allocated 60% to maintenance, 20% to machining, and 20% to assembly. Let's go ahead and pick up the information we have in our calculations. We're given our direct cost for maintenance department, $48,400. Direct cost for the cafeteria is $36,000. While our direct cost for machining was $103,000, this problem is only looking for the allocation of indirect costs, so we'll leave this cell blank, as well as the direct cost for assembly. Total cost, $84,400. Our allocation proportions for the cafeteria, 20%, for machining 60%, assembly 20%, and since we're allocating to all three of these departments using the reciprocal method, our total is 1.0, and our allocation percentages are simply the 20%, the 60%, the 20% for assembly. The costs from the cafeteria are allocated in the following proportions: 60% to maintenance, 20% to machining, 20% to assembly, for a total of 1. And again, since we're allocating out to all of the departments from the cafeteria, our allocation percentages are simply the 60%, the 20%, and the 20%. Let's begin with our cost allocations. We need to begin by calculating or putting in formulas to calculate our cost allocated from cafeteria and from maintenance. The cost coming from maintenance will be the $48,400 in direct cost, in addition to the unknown indirect cost that will be transferred in from the cafeteria. The cost transferred out of the cafeteria will be the $36,000 in direct cost and the unknown indirect costs. Now we can put in our allocation proportions. We will get the cost coming out of cafeteria multiplied by the 60% allocation coming from the cafeteria into maintenance. The cost coming from maintenance into cafeteria will be the currently unknown cost in maintenance multiplied by the 20% allocation to the cafeteria. When we enter this formula, and if we don't have iterations turned on, we get this message that we have a circular reference. And again, that's because maintenance depends on cafeteria and cafeteria depends on maintenance. And we can see that circular calculation. To turn on iterations, recall, go to File, come down to Options, over to Formulas, enable iterations, and set it on some number of iterations. Again, I typically use 100 iterations is more than enough. We hit OK, and our costs settle down to the true values. Let's now pick up the cost allocated out of maintenance, or rather out of the cafeteria, into the machining department. That's the $51,900 times the 20% allocation percentage. The cost allocated out of the cafeteria into assembly is $10,800. And again, we sum our row to ensure that we've allocated out all of the cost and not too much. We then allocate cost from the maintenance department, the $79,545 times 60% for machining, and the $79,545 times 20% for assembly. Again, we sum the row to ensure that we've allocated out all of our costs. Last thing we do, we sum the column under maintenance to make sure that it is zeroed out, that we've allocated all the cost out that we allocated in. The same for the cafeteria, and then we total the columns for machining, assembly, and we make sure that our total cost that we've allocated equals the total cost that we are given, which in this case, we're only dealing with the indirect costs.